During your RV adventure, you undoubtedly will encounter a bunch of different types of outlets, also known as receptacles, when you're plugged into shore power using 120 volts AC. And if the stars all aligned, you're always going to find the perfect outlet to match your rig's needs. However, that's not usually the case, so I want you to have a good understanding of the different power cord adapters, also known as dog bones. So first, let's talk about the reasons why you might need to dog bone. Number one, you might have made reservations at the campground for a 50 amp site, but they only had 30 amp available when you got there. You could get to your pedestal and the breaker is broken on the one that you need, and it's after hours and they can't repair. You might be mooch docking at somebody's house and they have 15 or 20 amp outlets, those regular sticks and bricks outlets available. You might be sharing a campsite like we do at some of the women's events, and both parties need 30 amp, but only one 30 amp receptacle is available. And then sometimes there's restrictions at different campgrounds, national or state parks, and they just don't have what you need. So let's talk about the different configurations of these and the outlets you'll encounter. You will typically see 50 amp, 30 amp, and 20 amp, sometimes one or the other at any of these campground pedestals, and like I said, 15 or 20 amp at the home on those sticks and bricks outlets. These come in a variety of configurations too. This one that I'm holding is a 50 amp male to a 30 amp female. And that's really important to know the difference because, ask me how I know, if you grab one of these thinking you're covered and head down the road, get to your campsite and realize you've got the wrong male and female ends, you're gonna be really sad. So look at all the different configurations and carry a variety of them to match your rig's needs. Let's talk about best practices on using them and plugging in. Plug your power cord into the adapter, breaker off at the pedestal, plug the adapter in, and then breaker on to power your rig. Now, some people ask me, can you use an EMS or a surge protector? And I say yes, it is highly recommended. And here is why. If you are mooch docking at someone's home and they have a situation called reverse polarity, that means that the neutral line has become energized. In the home, they may be none the wiser and everything is operating properly. But in the RV space, this could be very dangerous because if our neutral line becomes energized, there is no thermal protection in our RV electrical panel box on the neutral. Now let's talk about watts consumption. You 50 amp rigs, you're used to a potential of 12,000 watts to use. And if you're dog boning from a 50 to a 30, you only have 3,600 watts to use. So your air conditioner, for example, needs about 2,400 watts on startup and will settle down around 1,500 watts. Same for your power converter, the water heater element, your microwave, they could all be in that same range. So you may be only able to operate one or two of those at a time. Now, if you're a 30 amp rig and you're dog boning from a 50 amp outlet to a 30 amp, does that mean you get a total of 12,000 watts to consume? And the answer is no, unfortunately. Your power cord is still rated for 30 amp, and then also, thankfully, you have a 30 amp breaker inside your RV electrical panel to protect you from, in theory, calling for too much. So keep those in mind. Now, when you're mooch docking at somebody's house, those 15 or 20 amp outlets are only going to provide you with 1,800 to 2,400 watts. And that may mean you aren't able to run any of those big appliances or maybe just an outlet or one at a time. So I hope that information was helpful. Hey ladies, are you a female RV traveler? Do you want to know more about your rig in regards to proper operation, safety, troubleshooting, and some basic maintenance? Head to queenbeerv.com and click on events to see the locations of our nationwide women's RV workshop tour. Hope to see you there.